Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, Chapter 7, Under a Red Moon. That's Book 7, Under a Red Moon, Chapter 92, which is called The Frigid Tomb. And in just a few minutes, we'll do a recap, bring you up to speed, and get on with the icy dungeon crawl, as it were.
Oh boy.
Super quick announcements. If you take a look up over top of M's heads, you will see not heads.
Oh, I'm gonna have to realign my hand. It used to be this exact angle, and now it's
Right. Yeah, you're just pointing straight up.
It's like this for kids on bikes, and it was this way before, and now I've got to fucking adjust. God.
That's why I did it. I somehow knew you were gonna have some level of grief about being put in the lower right corner.
It's fine. This is where I should be. Lower
Oops,
right.
That's the wrong one. Anyway, if you look up over there, you'll see the domain tomes. Domain tomes are, of course, a way that you, the audience, can have an impact on the game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, cheering 500
bits.
Yeah. I knew it was coming because every single time you don't mute your phone quick enough and we hear...
Sorry. I'm so awful.
No, it's funny. It's become normal now.
I can't remember. It's the one little thing I can't get.
Oh, I'm using a hashtag. That's why they're not showing up.
An exclamation point.
I've been streaming for 5 years on Twitch, and I still can't seem to get some of the basics done. Or maybe they're just not working. If you're new to the chat,
think they're working.
I'm just spamming domain tomes. I was trying to type something different. Domain tome. Try that. There we go.
Hey.
Anyway, there's everything you need to know is right there. And they can use them for things like re-rolling and changing a level of success or making me re-roll. Be sure to check out our other streams. If you like this one, you can check out our Sky Metal Iron Gods, which is a D&D 5e game happening every other Tuesday. We normally would be scheduled for tomorrow. However, for reasons, we will not be back for another 2 weeks. And then on Thursday, of course, is Kids on Bikes. It is our Welcome to Paradise Academy. Season 2 of the Paradise, Michigan Kids on Bike series. Lots of great stuff going on over there. You can find me, Cari, and M over there, as well as some other wonderful people. Also, this Friday, over on Nerdarchy, on YouTube, I will be joining Nerdarchist Ted and a few others for our Old Guard game, which is a sort of Da Vinci Punk D&D 5e game. So come check that out.
You'll only find the phrase Da Vinci Punk here on MTD, of course.
Yeah. I totally lost what I was saying.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Mojo.
No, I was going to say, just a reminder, as always, that this is adults playing a game where you might hear adult language. You're going to definitely hear graphic depictions of violence, fantasy violence, things like that. First, know that we all have safety tools. We've had our Session 0. We know everybody's lines and fails, and we have safety tools in place to keep everybody at the table safe. However, if any of the things I described, or if you happen to stumble across something that you're not down with, feel free to head on over somewhere else, watch another stream. We will not be offended. And the last thing I want to say before we get things rolling is just to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There are so many reasons that you could be struggling. The important thing for you to know is that it's okay to not be okay, but you do not have to struggle alone. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to find the help you might need by simply typing !help, as I have just done in the chat. With that, you can visit a couple of URLs, findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them for yourself, bookmark them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, Cari, what time is it?
It's time to find some paths, bitches.
Wait, before we get too far.
Oh.
Sumiko posted ahoy in the chat, and then I wrote ahoy back, and we wrote the exact same number of zeros. Number of O's.
I saw that.
So
that's
pretty amazing.
That's
either a good omen or death to us all. One of the two.
Well, I'm flipped, so I'm going to say it's a good omen for me.
There you go.
Of course you're going to say it's a good
like
omen.
that scene in Braveheart where he's like, the Lord says he can get me out of this one. I suppose the rest of you are all fucked.
But they're pretty sure you're all fucked. What a great film.
Well, you all have been making your way through the frozen tomb, trying to find your way towards something known as the Gift of the Frost Heart, a magical artifact that the former tribe mate slash cousin of Teera, Vornush'ka, has been Yeltha said that he was on his way to trying to find this thing so that he could bring back your old chief, Garm, who is dead but was denied burning at the pyre, and instead is moldering away in a crate somewhere in their headquarters. You are trying to stop them from getting it by doing it yourself. While here, you have discovered some direct references and tie-ins to the Frostheart family. Besides it being called the Gift of the Frostheart, you've actually uncovered a massive warhammer now wielded by Cain, who sacrificed his own hand in order to wield this hammer. Which, among the other things that were engraven upon it, was the name Dirkhead, the name of your father, Teera. You most recently found yourself in a feast hall where you chose to partake of various foods that were offered to you. With all of that, while you did gain certain benefits, I hope you all mark down what those benefits are.
Oh yeah, I already used mine, so mine's done.
They're not a one and done, are they? What was yours?
You said mine was I could
Yours
use
might have
1d6 on a roll.
Oh yeah, sorry, yours was a one and
I already
done.
did.
Yours was a one and done.
I took good notes for once, guys. I did it.
That's right, because Cain gained the 2d10 temporary hit points. One of you got +2 to your fortitude, and one got +2 to your strength rolls for the next 24 hours. The trade-off was that you all have a -2 circumstance to attacks, to all attacks for the next 24 hours. Okay. That encounter, besides having to deal with a Guardian Grave Knight who was attempting to stop you from proceeding, did begin with a bizarre revelation of many people from your past. Most of all, indicating that somehow this location is tapping into your own thoughts or into your minds, or maybe you were broadcasting more information than you would like. In either case, very personal things were revealed. And now you are proceeding down the stairs. Yet another set of stairs descending ever deeper into this tomb. As you come down the stairs, you enter into a room that seems more like an antechamber than a room of any other purpose. It's 20 feet by 20 feet, and directly opposite where you've come down on the stairs is an archway. It seems to be carved, the entire wall and the archway seem to be carved of thick, unbroken blocks of ice. They rise in two vertical pillars, then at a sharp 45-degree angle go up, and then another angle and a connecting piece at the top. The first thing you see is that this archway is passage through a tunnel. You can't quite see what is on the other side because there is more of that cold, misty fog that is swirling around near the far end. But what you can see are that the walls to the left and right, and the ceiling, which also has those two angled pieces and the flat piece, have vicious looking jagged spikes of ice sticking out every which way. It looks like to pass through this tunnel, you're going to have to exercise caution, as like the teeth of some unknown gargantuan monster. They seem to almost interlink, but at weird angles. You can see that you'll be able to kind of weave your way through them. The floor looks to be also made of ice, and barely visible in the ice is some kind of markings that are either scratches or something else. It's hard to tell. In a moment, anybody who would like to, actually, while I'm finishing this description, you can roll a perception check if you would like. Or rather, I would like you all to roll perception checks, and then I'll have another option depending on that. The last thing about this entrance here, this archway, is that you can see carved into the ice across the top piece, the angled and flat pieces. It's very cleanly carved into this ice. You see a very old dialect of the common language, but you can read the words, "Cry out, water that turneth to bone." And both sentences are punctuated with a exclamation point. I will put that in the side chat.
Well, that's not cryptic at all, says Teera suddenly.
It doesn't seem cryptic at all. It's all clearly an acid trap. Water that turneth to bone?
I mean, I thought acid kind of made bones turn into water, but that was just me.
All right, look, something's going to happen. So, Teera, why don't you go first and lead the way?
Marda, with that 33 perception, you notice the lines that are below the surface of the ice. They're not random scratches or markings. They are deliberate markings. You recognize some sort of arcane runes that are etched below the ice in the entire length of the floor. I would like you to make a Arcana check to see if you can learn anything more.
I got a 30.
Oh, damn. Fucking Marda, let's go.
What do I see in the ice?
So the DC was 30.
She can just read it like it's a fucking newspaper. Like, let's go.
You you recognize that the runes that are etched below the floor are some sort of guardian ward protecting this tunnel. It's hard to tell what kind of exactly what the ward is. You don't recognize it specifically. It's very ancient. But you, with that 30, you know enough to know that unless you have been specifically designated by whoever cast or placed the runes, or unless you know some sort of passphrase or have some kind of item, there's usually some kind of key to bypassing magical wards. Bless you.
Marda sneezes.
She's allergic to
It's quite cold down here.
Yeah, she has the sniffles. She's going to pass this on to the others.
Okay.
There might be something somewhere that we could use to. Can she see if it's like is it active? This ward?
With that perception check and with that arcana check, you can see that below the surface of the ice, it's almost as if there's a light source coming from somewhere that's illuminating this entire tunnel, which is about 30 feet long. And you realize that light source is the ripples of arcane energy trapped within the ice that are moving along the lines of these runes. They are very much active.
Yeah, she would also pass that on.
So Marda, like, is there like are you saying there's like a shut-off switch? Like something we need to chuck down that hallway and then... Or what?
Well, there is nothing to tell what it does.
Oh, well.
Can she tell, like, what, I don't know, what school of magic it is? I think I have I have detect magic. Could I cast that to tell, like, what kind of ward it is? Oh, never mind. It's not like D&D. I should have read before I spoke.
That's all right. I was gonna vamp while I tried to look up because I don't know the schools of magic in Pathfinder as well as I do D&D. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, really, without having to do any special detecting magic or anything like that, with your previous checks, you can see enough to know that this is a the placing of the ward is a form of enchantment, but the ward itself is more likely than not would fall within the range of evocation or destruction magic.
So something activates this ward and things explode.
Things explode,
Maybe.
Things attack, something that would fall in the category of violence would happen.
Oh.
Yeah, she's gonna look and Marta's gonna be like, violent things will happen if we trigger this.
Well, that makes sense with the big spikes and all. I guess.
Going to make a couple checks here real quick. That's surprising. Alright, so let's see. What's her skills? Oh. Both Kane and Cleandra got a 30.
Oh, there we go.
and they were using nature and survival, looking at the way the ice stalactites and spikes and whatnot are arranged, and Kane has been standing there flexing this hand that has become a part of him, and he's just staring up at the words. If it's something that's needed to bypass those wards, could that be a clue? Like a riddle or something?
I mean, maybe it, yeah. Cry out, water that turneth to bone. That's got to be something, otherwise it wouldn't be there, right?
It just seems to me like, why put words there that they're clearly not a greeting, like, hello, welcome to the Chamber of Ice Horrors. Horrors.
Yeah. Well, the Chamber of Ice Horrors would be pretty nice, too. Flip, you seem to have a handle on all of this verbose type of puzzlery. Any idea about this one?
Water that turneth to bone. I mean, acid? Blood? You know. I'm not a magician.
Water that turneth to bone. That's well, I mean, that's something freezing, right? Like something like water becoming solid, like ice. I mean, it's probably not literally bone, right? It's probably like a liquid thing to a solid thing.
I mean, that's as good a guess as any other, really.
Cry out. Water
So,
that turneth to bone.
Cleandra says,
I mean,
so
cry out seems to be the instruction.
right.
It's like, say it, and then the clue is the second part.
There's exclamation points. Like, they're trying to emphasize whatever it is. So, does that mean you have to yell out an answer and hope that the rune hears it?
Water that turneth to bone. Cry out, water that turneth to bone. Well, Flip, try to just yell water that turneth to bone down that hallway. Maybe that'll do something.
Okay. Great. I can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. I will cry out, water that turneth to bone!
Turneth to bone, turneth to bone.
Shit.
You hear it sort of echo through the ice. There's no discernible change in anything.
Well, Flip, that was lovely, if it makes you feel any better.
Thank you. You know, I always put my heart into every performance, even if there's nobody there to see it. But of course, there always is, because I am universally beloved from Absalom to the coast.
Water that turneth
Did it work?
Well, fucking no. Everything looks exactly the way it did before.
But do we know if it would actually change? How do
I
we
feel like all of those pretty lights under the ice would go out. Don't you think?
Maybe.
Well, Kane, if you don't think you'll die, and you really just want to take the plunge,
That was
you are
Cleandra.
more than... Well, Cleandra, if you don't think you're gonna die, and you really want to take the plunge, you're welcome to just start walking down a hallway. I was gonna say, that sounded a little gentle for Kane. I was like, no. he's
Kane's in a Zen era.
Yes, he's like entering his hippie vibes.
I'm going to make a wisdom check for Cleandra. if you need to know, has Flip ever steered any of you wrong before? I've not known you very long, Flip, but what I've seen has been pretty impressive.
You two ought to get along great. No, I suppose he's
have
never
that effect
steered us
on
wrong.
people. Thank you, Kalindra, for saying what everybody else here is thinking.
Well, then I will put my faith in you. And Cleandra pushes past Kane, walks to the archway,
Oh!
and she
Does
stops.
that?
Hold on! Wait!
She stops. She doesn't just walk in. She stops, and she's taking a moment to take a deep breath and steel herself. And what? Were somebody trying to stop her? Or?
No, I say, okay. Marda is going to go up to Cleandra, and she's going to put her hand on her shoulder. And if she stops, maybe it is not a good idea to go as the last cloud dragon. That would be kind of unfortunate, no?
That's fair.
But as a dragon, maybe I have a better chance of survival than if you were to walk in there.
As a halfling, I am not the last of my kind, so that statement does not really hold up very well in terms of longevity.
But compared to
there's
dragons, all of you are relatively soft.
No, Marda, let her go. I think it's fine if she feels like she's strong enough. Go ahead, kid. Good luck.
I would like Marda to make a persuasion check.
Is persuasion a thing?
Or actually, it would be. I would have her
Diplomacy?
roll again. Yeah, I think it's diplomacy. Actually, I would have her roll against your DC.
Yeah, make an impression for diplomacy.
Yep.
Or influence others through negotiation.
So that's your charisma. Or do you have the ranks in diplomacy training?
I do. I'm trained.
Okay. So whatever your diplomacy number is, add 10 to it. That's your DC.
Okay.
What is that?
25.
25?
25? Yeah.
All right. So I am going to roll I'm going to roll to see how she does against that. With an 8 on her roll, that's very low. She
Wait a minute.
looks at you and kind of looks down the hall. What you see is she's balancing the wisdom of your words about her being the last of her kind with the impulsive nature of somebody who is a little too cocky for their own good.
I thought you were going to say is
inquisitive.
16 years old.
Yeah, well, in this current elven form, she does appear to be a little older, though with elves it can be difficult to gauge age. But you see her relieve some tension. I'm being honest, I was a bit frightened. She takes a step back. I will wait until we are more certain.
Flip,
That is probably a good idea. We have time. We do not need to rush into anything. There is no clock.
If we're trusting Flip, there kind of is, right? Flip said time is going fast on the outside.
That's right. Yeah. And just a point of clarification, she's the last cloud dragon, which means that there have been cloud dragons before. She's the last one, but there's only one Flip. Never before, never again. Just something to think about as we proceed through this challenge. Maybe Kane should go first. He's already down a hand. What's the worst that could happen?
Kane's already down a hand. That's a real good reason for him not to go. He's already sacrificed enough.
He's closer to rock bottom than the rest of us, is my point.
He's also right here. You're talking about me like I'm not even here.
I see that you're here. You're hard to miss.
Water that turneth to bone.
So do you think that you yelling the phrase down there deactivated it?
I do. I mean, it has instructions and a passphrase.
Then why aren't you walking through?
I started by saying, though being one of a kind and sort of a bit of a artifact in my own right, so I think we need to preserve me at all costs. You're more expendable.
I'll go. I'll go. It'll be fine. I'm feeling real healthy right now.
I would like... trying to figure out the rate. I want a recall knowledge check.
From everybody.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of... I will allow you to use religion, cultism,
oh Jesus,
or nature.
What about Bardic? That's stupid. That's all the same for me.
Nature, I got a 27.
Okay.
Bardic, I got a 35.
And what'd you get, Marda?
I got 30 religion.
Marda and Flip. You... The more you think about it, and the presentation of the words on the lintel, and what Flip yelled and the nature of the runes, you are certain Flip got it wrong. There's something else to this. I will say that you know that you're able to piece together that the words carved into the top of the archway are directly related to the runes. But you also know that Flip did not get the answer right. Meaning that if anybody were to walk down this hall, whatever the runes will do will activate.
Water that turneth to bone, cry out. Water that turneth to bone. I don't... Puzzles aren't my thing, you guys. Hitting things is my thing. I don't understand. Are you saying it's not safe to go down there? Flip didn't get it right? Alright.
I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but despite all the evidence to the contrary, I am not perfect.
Cry out. What if... I don't know, what if, like, cry out means, like, to actually cry? Like cry out. Or something like that. That makes water, right? Out of your eyes.
But how does that turn to bone?
Well, I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Hey, spit can turn to ice. I've seen it.
Ice. Water that turneth to bone.
Yeah. Cry out, water that turneth to bone.
Kane suddenly leans towards the archway and yells, "Ice! Ice! Ice! Ice!" Nothing changes that you can tell.
Good effort, Kane. Worth a shot.
I mean, are we sure that it's not working? Will it be some kind of like, the lights will go out, or the lights will come on, or something to tell us that we said the right thing?
I feel like there will be some kind of a narrative prompt that we will be guided towards knowing that this was the right thing. Something. We'll just sense it. And I sense that that fucker is still on. Cleandra, you're... Fucking... How old are you? You've been around a long time. You probably know every riddle in the book.
I've only been around for a few hundred years.
Practically a spring chicken. Do you have any ideas?
I'm going to roll... we'll try another nature roll for her. That is a 12. Say 32. Cry out. Water that turneth bone. Cry out. Water that turneth to bone. There's something in those words. I'm not sure that it is actually a riddle.
What do you mean? Is it not something we're supposed to yell? Is that something
No,
that's...
I think the exclamation points are leaning towards yelling something. Cry out, water that turneth to bone. And she's getting in kind of really close to the opening. She's just kind of looking up, like she's trying to look at these words from every angle.
Well, maybe it's... Okay, so water that turneth to bone. I'll bet you anything that that's ice. What's another word for cry out? Like, yell, scream, shout. Maybe it's like shout ice or something like that.
What if each of us have to do it?
We just all yell ice?
Or maybe it's
at
not...
the same time?
I'm just saying, maybe it's not protecting this passageway. Or it is, but each person that wants to pass through it has to solve the riddle or follow the instructions. So do we all yell ice? I think we should try it.
Alright, you first. Marda, what do you think?
Ice!
Kane, wait.
Yeah, Marda just yells out ice.
Kane shrugs and says, "Ice!"
Ice.
Ice! Anything happened?
Okay, great.
Leandra,
I feel good about where
don't
we are.
forget.
Cleandra looks down at you, Marda. I may be the last of my kind. But I don't have purpose like you all do. So if something happens to me, and it saves you, I'm willing to take that risk. And she steps forward through the archway.
Well, Marda lets her go, but leads back to Teera. That did not make any sense, but it made her feel better.
Yeah, everybody has their own path, I guess. It's a coat of many colors.
She's standing there and kind of going like this.
Marda wants to stay within 60 feet of her.
It's only 30 feet long,
reasons.
this
So you can
passage,
stand
from what you
right
can see.
fucking here where it's safe and be within 60
Perfect.
feet.
She
Great.
Perfect.
takes another step forward, and she turns around and she looks at all of you. It's very cold in here, but nothing seems to have changed. She takes another step back and she sort of brushes against one of the icicles, and the tip of it
I don't like it.
breaks off and falls and hits the ice and shatters. And kind of like when I can't think of what they're called, but one of those like Tesla balls or whatever they are,
Oh, yeah.
that you touch, and wherever you touch the electricity goes. You see where that ice hits. Arcane energy seems to just, it doesn't like extend way out, it just kind of goes, and you realize that as she takes another step, as her foot touches, it goes, but her footsteps are stretching out, and that arcane energy is combining down with the runes. I think it'll be safe. You see a thick cloud of almost smoke like
Oh no.
fog begins to fill this passageway, and it kind of billows around her and starts to roil, and it makes its way out into the chamber where you are, just sort of billowing a little bit. It smells awful. It has a stench of like sulfur, like it's gases
shit.
being released from deep within the earth. And after a moment, as the clouds dissipate, you see Cleandra is standing there, frozen, solid.
Oh. Oh.
The clouds
no.
linger in the area.
Shit! And Teera just like starts like pacing in this little like entryway kind of.
That wasn't it. That fucking wasn't it. And now we've got to fucking wait for her to unfreeze, if she ever does. Oh yeah, what did it turn it to bone? Oh yeah, what did it turn it to bone?
She took several steps, slowly, before that happened. What if we sprint?
That is such a bad idea. Do it the same thing but faster? When has that ever worked out?
Oh, you're always saying you don't have to be fast, you just have to be faster than the person behind you.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I think that's a bad idea. I think the fucking... Okay, so in these runes, these exclamation points, are they like... The exclamation points, are they like pointing a certain way? Are they like angled a certain way that might lead us to a clue? Do they look like icicles? Like anything that might help us out?
And Teera is like gripping Kane's shoulder in a fucking death vice. She is not allowing him to enact this plan.
They look like normal exclamation points. They don't seem to be pointing in any particular way. Yeah.
Okay. Man.
I sent a message to the one who got the highest recall knowledge. That is a clue.
Oh boy.
I really don't like standing around waiting to see what's going to happen.
Neither do I, but we've been standing here for like 5 minutes. It's not the end of the world. You are not going down that tunnel. You are not just gonna fucking try to sprint. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something here. I'm balancing the puzzle being for the players and the puzzle being for the characters here.
We are 3 college-educated people.
Been a long Monday.
All right, I have rolled. I almost said rolled. I've rolled a D100. I would like you each to roll a D100.
$16.
94.
Wow.
94, is that what you said?
Yeah.
And Gary? What?
Oh, sorry.
95.
Because of your previous successes, I want Flip and Marda to each re-roll their number.
Oh my god.
73.
46.
The number I rolled was a 50.
Oh! Flip. The brains of the operation.
Flip. You keep going back to your first attempt. And you think you were mostly right.
Okay.
Your first attempt, you only yelled out portion.
Fucker.
Cry out! Water that turneth to bone!
As soon as the word out escapes your mouth, you see the foul-smelling smoke begin to dissipate until it falls to the ground and seems to be absorbed by the floor. And Marda, you notice that the runes, the warding runes, have gone dark.
Ah.
But you also notice that at the very fringes, there's arcane energy that seems to be going rhythmically. You don't know how long, but you think this is timed. Like, it's not permanently disabled, it's just been disabled long enough maybe for somebody to get through.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Marta just, Kane, go! She, like, pushes him.
Kane,
And Teera loosens her grip just a second because she's confused.
Kane takes off running, and he dodges past the frozen Kalindra with a sort of sorrowful look at her, and then he starts kind of dodging around these icicles. He clips one or two of them, and you hear the tips break off, and he gives a little ah, but you see he's makes it to the far side. Marda The arcane energy is flickering a little faster.
Well, do we need to say it again? Is that?
Cry out, water that turneth to bowl.
You see no change in the flickering, but Kane calls out, "What are you waiting for?"
I run. I go immediately.
Flip will go.
I want to try to scoop Cleandra. I mean, she is an ice block, but she's only a little thing, so I might be able to scoop her on the way by.
Unfortunately.
Oh.
I'm just gonna check something because I don't know what the rules are in here.
While Jake checks the rules on whether we die or not, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we have all kinds of great shirts, like the original MTD logo. We have all kinds of great class shirts for your games, the classic Paradise shirt that Jake is wearing, and so many more. You can get them on tank tops, hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to check. Similar to when Togo was petrified, turned to stone, Cleandra weighs a lot more in this form.
Shit.
When Marda's going to be following, when we get up, can I... Is this classified as a spell or effect?
Feels like an effect to me.
I mean, it is trying to think of how they classify. What do they call it? They don't call them traps, but hazards. Is that what they call them? Yeah, we'll call it an effect because it's the result of an arcane trap.
I have Dispel Magic, but the description is a little confusing, so I'm not sure if I can cast it. It's, you unravel the magic behind a spell or effect, attempt a counteract check against the target. If you successfully counteract a magic item, it becomes a mundane item. This doesn't change the item's non-magical properties. If the target is an artifact, you automatically fail. The target can be one spell effect or one magic item. So,
you would basically be going up against the magic that formed the ward.
Yeah.
Do it. You can do it.
I'm going to do a counteract check.
Oh,
okay.
Yes. Feel free to use those tomes. Don't forget about those.
Which is a something.
I believe.
Gotta get our dragon, buddy.
You use your spellcasting ability modifier and your proficiency bonus. And you're trying to beat the DC of the item.
And my proficiency bonus?
Yeah. It says use your spellcasting ability modifier and your proficiency bonus for spell attack rolls.
Okay, so I have my attack is plus 17.
Okay.
So then do I add another 13 to that because I'm an expert? Or does that include my... I
think you add it again, dude. I think you add your proficiency bonus on top of it.
Yeah, it says spellcasting ability modifier and your proficiency. It sounds high because you're expert.
Oh, no. Spellcasting ability modifier is probably because it's probably my charisma. Because I use charisma for my spells.
Yes.
Plus my proficiency. So it's the plus 17.
Look at all of us learning together.
There
Nice.
we go.
Okay.
The more you know.
Because I'm like,
So, yeah.
a plus 30 would be a little insane.
So you get the plus 17 plus
Fuck
your
yeah!
plus your charisma modifier.
No, I just get the plus 17. Because that's my... Oh,
It says your spellcasting ability modifier and your proficiency bonus for spell attack rolls.
I think a +4 on top of that wouldn't break the game, Em.
So a +21?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
not that much bigger than a +17. And you're really, really good at it. So it's fair.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a 28. Which is not that high, because I only rolled a 7, so.
Okay.
Just checking something real quick. Ba-da-ba-da. Now, I'll tell you what, this Pathfinder GM screen has been one of the biggest boons for referencing.
Actually, before you tell me, sorry, can I re-roll? I don't like that 7.
Atta you,
I
You can
feel
roll
a
better
little-
than that.
Yes, it'll cost you 3 tomes to reroll.
Yeah, I want a dragon.
It's 3 tomes to reroll? I thought it was 1 to reroll.
Oh, sorry, you're correct. It's 3 to make me reroll.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay, I got a 32, which is much better.
Yay!
A 32?
No. I rolled a 15 plus 17 is 32 plus another 4.
30.
36.
Yay!
Hell yeah.
As you touch Cleandra and you work to counteract this ancient magic, you feel the almost super cooled air coming off of Cleandra, and you feel for a moment the heat of your own hand almost fuses your hand to her. And there is no other effect. You're not strong enough for this ancient magic.
No. Well, I tried.
Teera's already ahead of Marda in the tunnel. She sees her trying. She's like, Marda, hurry up. We'll come back for her later.
Flip, did you run through yet? Marda, below you, you can see not only are the arcane runes at the edges flickering, it's starting to kind of go each time getting a little further. You've got maybe seconds before these runes reactivate.
It's not a condition. I can't do anything.
Marda, come on!
What's not a condition?
I have certain spells that I can cast that
She
treat conditions, but I don't.
She has a condition. Her condition is that she's been petrified.
Oh. Or icy demeanor.
I don't.
She's just
Let
been
me just do a
turned
quick-
to ice instead of stone.
Nice.
No, never mind. That doesn't do what I want. Okay, Marta's running.
Marda, I would like you to make an athletics check because you lingered so long trying to save Cleandra. To get out of this tunnel before the arcane runes complete.
We can't lose
If you
another
petrify
character.
another one of my characters.
No, we can't. Not again. Not again. D'Amico, shut up. D'Amico's in the chat already counting you out. Let's go.
I have a -1 to athletics. I would like to say that.
Is there any
I
way
rolled a
I
1.
can aid Marta?
I rolled a 1.
Okay.
You gotta
I rolled a 0.
You've got to reroll. You've got to do it.
Marda, you all see Marda finally reluctantly push away from the frozen Cleandra, turn and begin running and dodging past, and you all can see now the arcane runes are now it's like a fast-moving fuse of dynamite under the ice as the runes are relighting. Marda, you can hear...
Do I have time? Sorry.
Do you have time?
Do I have time for another action? I know I had an action to cast my the Dispel Magic. In these few seconds, do I have another action? Because I have a spell.
Normally I would say yes, but you critically failed on your athletics check.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
As you're running, Marda, you hear... And you all see this cloud is billowing behind Marda as she's running. And Marda, you come around, you're dodging past, and you're like not very far away from where you can see Teera and them, almost like in slow motion. Come on, come on. When you become completely enveloped in this freezing cold. As the cold envelops you, Marda, you feel not...
Marda, cry out.
You do not... You do not feel yourself freezing solid. You feel the cold penetrating deep into your bones. You feel the cold penetrating literally deep into your bones, as this is a magical cold. The rest of you see Marda completely enveloped in the same way that Cleandra was. Marda, what do you have in the way of armor? Do you have magical armor, or do you have anything that gives you armor class?
I don't have any.
Okay. Not surprising with your class.
Yeah.
Any weapons that you have on you?
I have a staff.
What is its damage die? D8 or D6?
D8. I also have the hatchet of death, of blood.
Yes!
Blood hatchet.
Blood axe hatchet. Tiny blood axe.
The blatchet.
The blatchet.
Your,
like that thing.
Your weapons are reduced by 1 die level. If you have a D4 weapon, like a dagger or something like that, it shatters in the cold. Do you have any potions on you? Like healing potions or anything like that?
Oh, shit.
No. I am a healing potion, so I do not.
Fair.
But if you did have any potions, they would be half as effective. And your magic is going to suffer a -5 circumstance bonus to your attempts at spells.
If Marda was
Forever?
petrified, none of this matters. Are you saying she's not petrified?
You all don't know yet. You see...
Oh.
All you see is the roiling, noxious smoke spilling out of where Marda was, literally like 5 feet away from you.
Teera takes a step back.
After a moment, the noxious fumes begin to settle, and you see Marda standing there and moving very slowly towards you.
Hey.
Marda's clothing is coated in that like fuzzy, like I think it's called hoarfrost or
yeah.
whatever, that like fuzzy
HORA.
ice. Marda's hair is frozen, eyebrows caked in ice. Literal where she holds the cane and even the smaller blood axe on her back, there's literal icicles are hanging from them. As Marda, you move, slowed down from this, but you move, not petrified. You are able to make your way through to the other side.
Marda, are you all right? Say something.
Can Marta speak?
Yep. You are very cold. That is...
Yes. I am alive, I think.
You look like my mother. Ooh. Well, let's get you warm, I guess.
Marda,
Fucking figure out a plan.
having experienced the effects of this, and to a degree, Flip, I think also with your higher checks that you had earlier, and now you're sort of getting the last piece of the puzzle, seeing how Marda was affected, you realize that, one, crying out was the password for a limited time. Two, that this appears to be, under normal circumstances, designed to weaken would-be Tomb Raiders. It's designed, had others of you gone through here, for example, Cain and Teera, you suspect that their weapons would have been reduced, like your staff is reduced. You suspect that armor would have been compromised, losing some of its effectiveness. But for all of you, that seems to be the extent of it. You don't know why and exactly what, but something about Cleander was different that it completely froze her. The most obvious being, she's a dragon.
I mean, we did try and tell her. Sometimes being a dragon is not the best.
I didn't disagree with her. I thought a dragon probably had the best shot of any of us, I guess.
Marda and
Hubris gets us all at some point.
Marda and Flip, roll me one more recall knowledge on the magical effects. I have one more piece of information I want to see if you can figure out.
Recall knowledge.
Whatever
18.
you were using, Arcana, Occult, or Nature.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I only got 18.
Okay.
I got 23.
That's the extent of what you know about it. You're not entirely sure why, but other than maybe her dragon nature or something, but for the time being, she appears to be frozen. Now that you're through to the other side... Oh, go ahead.
We know her true name.
Yeah.
You do.
Oh.
We could try and force a transformation. Marta says as she like looks around the tunnel.
Would she get like crushed and stabbed and smothered in this tiny tunnel? Was she a big dragon, you think?
I don't know.
I don't either. Well, I mean, maybe she won't go full dragon because like the two magic-y things will like counteract each other and she'll just melt and be normal again.
Or she falls into a million pieces.
Oh. Well.
Or she eats us.
Yeah, she could just hate us for letting her go first. I don't know. Flip, what do you think? What would you do? If it were you frozen up like that, what would you want us to do?
Well, I mean, the situation would be different. If it were me, obviously you'd have to do everything you could to save me, being that I'm a national treasure. I think you owe it not just to yourselves, but to all of Galarian to make all best efforts to recover my body and bring me back. Last Cloud Dragon? Yeah, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Try and save her, great. If not, collateral damage. Went forward on her own. If we can fix her, we should. But, we won't lose sleep over it.
I mean, if you're petrified, Marda, you probably know more about this. If you're petrified, can you still see and hear and like, know what's going on around you? And just not move?
To be honest, I don't think I have never really had a conversation with someone who was petrified before.
That's fair.
We just assumed you know a lot about it. I don't know why.
Marda's very smart, Flip.
That's what I said.
Huh.
Kind of.
Well, if that were the case, I'd probably rather be dead. I mean, if it were me, I think we should try to say a name and see what happens.
We could try and get her out of the tunnel first. With all of us, we might be able to move her.
Teera.
Well, with all of you.
At this point, you realize that next to you, you've kind of... You know how when a kid or a sibling or somebody is like just irritating you by like tapping at your arm, trying to get your attention while you're in the middle of a conversation?
Is Kane doing that?
You realize that Kane is sort of doing that, and next to you out of the peripheral you see that he's not looking down the tunnel, he's looking the way you were headed. And finally, just like Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park, he reaches over and he grabs your head and turns it to look into the room.
Oh.
And you see that you are standing at the far end of a chamber that's looks to be about 45, 50 feet wide, more than 100 feet long. Whoa. At the far end of this chamber, you see that there is a raised dais and a massive throne of ice. Seated upon that throne of ice, with hand to the side, massive greatsword, blade pointed down, is what appears to be Dirkhead. But you can see that his chest, it's as if the any vestiges of clothing and skin have been ripped away. You see inside his rib cage is a blue glowing frozen heart.
The frost heart.
Standing on plinths on either side are two humanoid statues. From this distance, it's hard to see what they look like, carved from ice. And that's where we're going to go ahead and take a break.
Oh, shit. I want to save Cleandra, but also curious. Fuck. Oh, boy. Wow. Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and we'll take about a 10-minute break. And we'll be back to finish things out. We'll see you on the other side. All right, we are back. You now see yourself standing in the Frigid tomb. And Teera and Kane, for the moment, you see, even from 100 feet away, you recognize your father seated, or what looks to be your father, seated on this throne. He wears some sort of crown, you can't tell from this distance, but he has the imposing size of a Kelid with that, you know, the rumors of the Kelids having giant's blood in them was for a reason. And you see that the massive greatsword that he holds next to him looks like a larger version of the greatsword that he gave to you when you fled all those years ago.
Teera takes a big breath and breathes out, and there's that condensation in the air. And she kind of looks back to Cleandra in the tunnel there and shakes her head and looks back at her father, presumably, and kind of looks at Marda like, what are we gonna do about her?
We cannot just leave her.
No.
She
We
needs
can't.
to be given the chance to learn this lesson.
So, you mean like learning the lesson like say a name? Or learning the lesson like leave her here like a teenager sent to a room?
I don't think she is going to learn very much if she cannot move or speak or think.
Well, I'm terrible at pronunciation. Go ahead.
Okay. Marda's gonna... But wait, we have... Oh, but we have to try and move her. Or else it's just gonna freeze her again. No? Maybe?
Well, but we can't go down there, otherwise it's gonna fucking freeze us again. Unless we lasso her ass and try to, like, pull her like a tug-of-war.
Lasso would be futile, as the entire hallway is filled with jagged
Jesus.
icicles coming from the ceiling and walls. There's not a clear straight line to her.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, if we say the phrase again, will it give us another timer? I suppose.
We could try it.
And then all three of us, four of us, Kane, we can run down there and all just fucking pull as hard as we can. And then I look at Kane and I'm like, go in there in just a second, I promise.
Are you certain we won't all just end up like her?
No, but we can't just leave her. We can't leave anybody behind.
Do we want the next blokes that come down here to find a goblin, a halfling, and two humans with what looks like an elf all pushing against her, beautifully recreated ice sculptures?
No, but maybe that won't happen. Maybe we'll save her and then she can come and help us with whatever the fuck is in there.
And maybe we won't.
Flip,
Yeah?
are you saying you're just gonna leave her behind?
There are worse ideas.
Flip. I mean, I know you're a little bit of a shit, but I didn't think you were totally devoid of character. She went in there because she thought it was safe and she was testing it out for us.
She went into a big speech of how much she trusted you.
Yeah.
Listen, you're not going to be able to tug on my heartstrings. They've been cut. Okay? Worst comes to worst, you'll all die. And then I'll be able to negotiate with that weird thing on my own, which is fine. But I assume you'd probably rather be alive. Maybe you could get a rope around her and then drag her over here. Maybe. Probably not, though. Well, I don't know what you're expecting to do. I mean,
Maybe.
assuming that it's only triggered by people, maybe we could throw the rope and then pull. But I don't know.
She's like around the corner, Flip. We can't get a rope in there without going in there.
Well, I mean, you can't.
Well, what do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Magic,
How-
obviously.
Does she classify as a creature right now? Could I cast fly on her?
Haha. That's what I call creative thinking. This is brainstorming, people. Look at us. It's a
Hey,
hell of a
we
team
could
building
just, like-
exercise.
No,
You know?
you are an object.
Ah.
Shit. Shit.
When you are petrified, you are an object. Plus, wouldn't she have to be able to be conscious to control flight?
She might be conscious in there.
No.
That's
True.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Well, yeah. I mean, Flip, if you can weave a rope in there, then go ahead, I guess. With magic, you said?
Yeah, I mean,
Kane and I can hoist her out of there.
just trying to figure out if I still have an ability or not. Let's see. Range spell.
Search your brain, Flip.
Search my brain. Range spell. No, in this version of myself, I seem not to have it. That's unfortunate. Because it would have been useful. It was never useful before. Feels like for months we went back and forth and I wanted to use it but didn't. And then it's like I disappeared from my own memory and I had to build myself up again. And
That's quite a trip.
didn't make the cut. But now it would be... Anyways, yeah, I can try that.
Teera,
Yeah.
you hear right
Oh,
next to
Christ.
you. It's a wonder you ever get anything done as much as you all deliberate amongst yourselves.
Who the fuck does this sound like?
It sounds exactly like your mother.
Shit. I don't.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
God. Oh, God. Teera, like, goes, like, stiff for a second and then just kind of, like, looks around and tries to gauge if anybody else heard this.
Kane definitely heard it. And I would say the others, heard it as well. It's, I mean, right next to you,
Just-
somebody
it's,
speaking.
It's an actual audible sound. It's not just in
Yeah.
my head. Okay. So I kind of look and I'm like, we can get her on the way back.
You see, standing just a few feet away from you, not really standing, you see your mother sort of phasing in and out as the icy mists seem to swirl and coalesce and form almost like an apparition of her that is made of this roiling fog. As much time as it took you to even navigate that hallway. And now you're wasting time debating over a piece of ice.
Well, she's not just a piece of ice. She was our friend, and we're trying to get her out of a pinch.
Don't you think you have more important things to concern yourself with? As the apparition sort of gestures towards your father on the throne.
And I look at him and I look kind of down that chamber, and I kind of look over at Kane and then I look at Flip and I'm like, okay.
The translations didn't quite get it right. It's not the gift of the Frost Heart. It's the gift for a Frost Heart.
And Teera just looks at Flip specifically and just says, I'll be right back.
All right.
And
Great.
Teera just starts walking towards into that big chamber.
You see as she doesn't so much as follow you, as different billowing portions of the mist, she just suddenly seems to be a few feet away, and then as you move, she's over here a few feet away, kind of following with you.
Okay.
As Kane suddenly takes a moment and turns and kind of jogs after you. Right, what are you doing?
I'm going up there, Cade.
Is that actually your mom?
Yeah.
Suddenly the apparition flickers and is next to Kane.
Teera stops walking for a second and
What's the matter, boy? You don't recognize your own mother? I have a bone to pick with you. You see Kane sort of stiffen up a little bit. Imagine my surprise when I found out that I was a grandmother.
Oh.
Kane grips the hammer tightly. If you hurt one hair on her head... Oh, I have no intention of harming the girl. I intend to train her. And raise her in the ways of the Frost Witches. That is, unless your sister wants to change her mind.
I look at her and I look at him and I just say, I'm here now. And I'm fucking going up there. And just walk with me and let him walk back with the others. Just let him go back. And let him walk away from here. He can leave with the goblin and the halfling.
If I wanted to hinder any of you, I would have done it as soon as you entered the tomb. You are here because I want you to be here. Flip and Marda, you can make recall knowledge, arcane, or occult.
$29.
24.
You are here because I want you to be here.
Me or him, or both.
Well, you've been together for so long. Figured I could catch two for the price of one. Once I knew you were heading to that horrible town, I just had to feed the orcs the knowledge of the artifact. I knew you couldn't resist getting involved. Marda. You, with that 29, you realize or sense that Melina Frostheart is not actually here. This apparition that's appearing is some variation of sending magic. It's a projection. It's not even like astral projection. It's an illusion that has the ability, she has the ability to communicate through, but you know that means she can't physically or even magically do anything to anyone here.
That is not your mother.
How do you know that, Marda? It sure as fuck looks like her.
Marda walks right up to her. If you are real, cast your magic upon me. Hit me. And Marta's going to, if there's
nervously
like a silence.
I'm sorry, I like step in front of Marta just a little bit. Like not like straight up in front, but just kind of like defensively a little bit.
If Teera does that, Marta is gonna like take her staff and is going to kind of like around you, like Marta's behind you, but it's just gonna like kind of reach out and be like, yeah.
As all of this is happening, the vision of Melina Frostheart seems to suddenly coalesce and almost look solid as suddenly she leans forward, face right in yours, and you see suddenly the hair flying back as if it's floating in water, and her jaw opens impossibly wide. Her eyes seem to bulge out. It's kind of like that scene in Ghostbusters when the ghost suddenly...
shall know me in despair.
And attempts to frighten you, but you know that she's not even real. And as she's doing this, Teera, you see Marta's staff go, and there's sort of a dissipation.
More trickery.
You begin to see it for what it is.
As usual. Ice seems scary and it can seem sharp, but it's just as easily shattered, I see.
Make no mistake. You're here because I want you to be here.
And where are you? Not here.
If I told you that, then Cain would come running to the rescue. You see the apparition of Melina. The arms sort of disappear for a moment, almost like she's reaching off camera. And you see the mist begin to coalesce as she holds, somewhat awkwardly, a 5-year-old girl.
Oh!
She just caresses her hair.
Oh.
Don't worry, Cain. She will be safe with me.
Oh no. You don't have her. You're lying. This is another fucking trick.
Is it?
And Teera kind of like is trying hard to convince herself, and as she kind of glances over at Cain and see his reaction. Like, does that really look like her, or...
Can't really see the way she's holding the child. Its face is turned away, and she's like stroking her head.
Okay.
Well, I've got to tend to my granddaughter. And, well, kids, it looks like your father's home. And you see the mists begin to dissipate. And the apparition vanishes. Cain turns to you, Teera. We have to find where she is. We can't let her have my daughter.
She doesn't. It's a trick. It's got to be a trick. Send a raven. You don't even have to tell me where she really is. Send someone. Or a messenger. See, for all we know, Cain, your daughter is right where you left her. She doesn't really have her, I know it. It's a trick.
She disappeared before I could find out for sure.
Well, we'll figure that out when we get out of here. First, I think we should head up there. Or I should. Are you up to it?
Even if that's Dad, it's not Dad.
I got to go up there. I got to see what it is.
Just in case. Hold on one split second. Ice! It's warmed up. Sorry, a very large chunk of ice fell off. Fittingly, part of our roof. And
I was gonna say.
I'm like,
I was like, does he have some? Does
Yeah.
he have some special effect prepared?
Well,
Like,
I don't know if you
was
guys.
like-
I don't know if you heard that rumble sound.
I did. I
yeah.
thought that was just.
Ice, because it's warming up and things are thawing a little bit. A big chunk of ice from the roof just fell on this corner of the porch roof,
Oh,
and
shit.
that was my wife going, "What was that?" It seems that the
Very, very thematic.
Frost Lord here is having some impact in the real world. Anyway, as I was gonna say, Kane turns to Marda and Flip and says, "Marda, Flip, you want to come meet our father?"
Sure. It's great. No family dysfunction here. And Flip will wander into the big room.
Marda takes a look back at Cleandra. If shit hits the fan, she doesn't want to leave her there.
No.
Marda, if you'd rather go back.
I will emphasize something in that I realize I didn't say in the description of this room. Is there are no other exits out of this room that you can see.
Oh, so we have to go back that way? Presumably.
Presumably. Unless it's like Skyrim, where once you beat the final boss, you find a switch in
A
the door.
stone like moves to the side.
I'm going to send you guys on Discord a photo. I have to obscure some things, but this is the one at the very bottom, where it looks like a sarcophagus on the dais to the left. That's the throne where your father sits. You guys came in through the arch on the far right.
Okay.
And there's pillars on either side, plinths on either side where there are statues. In fact,
Now that we're I was gonna say now that we're closer, can we see what the statues look like?
as you are walking forward, you get within this room, as I said, is about 100 feet long. As you get about halfway, you kind of come alongside where these statues are, and they're up on these plinths. And you see on the right-hand side, you see a perfect carving in translucent ice of Vornush'ka. Vorn. A few feet away on the right, next to Vorn, is a perfect ice carving of Togo.
Oh.
On the left-hand side, opposite Vorn, is a perfect ice carving of a halfling woman who looks an awful lot like Marda, but just enough to be different. You recognize her from the feast hall. It's Petra. The very last plinth has a figure that stands taller than all the others. The features so perfectly capture their presence, even down to the long lab coat and the flower that he holds in his hand, as there is a statue of Doc standing there.
Oh. This doesn't make any sense. Why are they all here? I'm gonna go take that fucking heart out of his chest. All of this has to end. This is bullshit. And Teera kind of starts walking a little bit quicker. Like, not fast, but like clearly like walking with a purpose up towards this dais.
Does anybody else go with Teera?
Sure.
Okay. So we see for a moment sort of a high angle shot from behind the throne, looking down just over the top of this throne, seeing the four of you walking up towards this, Teera slightly in the lead. You get all the way to the base of the dais, and he hasn't moved.
Is like the rest of him skeletal, or is it just his chest?
Now that you are close up, you can see that there are parts of his arms where they are visible, where the flesh is gone and bone is visible. You can see that part of his face is clearly Dirkhead, but one eye and part of the nose and just down the side is bone. And he wears a crown that seems to be fashioned of iron and ice.
Neat.
In his chest, you see that glowing blue heart.
I want to go. I kind of give Kane a look, but then I just go up the dais and I want to like take it. I want to reach in there and take it out.
Okay.
Teera's a little bit hesitant as she reaches forward, but like, yeah.
You step carefully up onto the dais. For just a moment as you step up, Kane reaches out and lightly grabs hold of your arm. As you kind of glance at him, he just gives you a reassuring squeeze of your arm and then lets go. But you see that he's gripping that hammer very tightly, standing just beyond you. As you
Teera kind of does that Indiana Jones thing, like with her hands, like as she's getting close. And
you reach out.
Yeah. And
just as your fingers get next to the rib cage, his free hand reaches out and grabs your wrist.
Fuck.
And you all can see as this happens, this arcane light like twin blue fires in his eyes. And the head, as it turns to look down at you, Teera, it sounds like the creaking of ice as you walk across it, that crunching of super frozen snow, just a... You've got to earn this, girl. And what is your athletics score?
Great question. Athletics, a plus 19.
Okay, so that's a DC 29.
Very athletic, yeah. I'm a master.
He got a 24. He attempts to... He takes that hand, releases it from your wrist, and attempts to shove you backwards. And, like, you can tell by the force of it, he's trying to throw you clear back. Instead, when his hand hits your chest, you slide back just a few inches, as it's more like he just kind of, and you can feel the strength beyond what you ever knew your father to have.
Does Teera, is he like, did he pull his hand away, or is it still like push it?
It's still there.
Can I just like pow his hand away?
All right, you make
or attempt that.
You now make a check, athletics check versus his DC.
Okay. All right, here I go. That's a 35 athletics.
His DC was 32. You smack his hand away.
Oh, and Teera like looks up with such like fucking rage in her eyes, and just after all of this fear about her niece and her mother kind of showing up, and she is done with this bullshit, and it is very much evident on her face.
You all hear that sound of creaking, cracking ice. It sounds like when things start to get a little bit warm and the ice on a lake begins to crack with loud blasts, just as Dirkhead stands. He rises to his feet. You must earn this. And he lifts his sword. And I would like you all to roll for initiative.
Wow. Damn.
Right, so it's perception. Oh. Oh no.
Oh god. I'm gonna say the oh no was for him rolling really shitty perception. That was for sure what happened. Dirkhead got a 1.
Quite the opposite. Okay, we've got 24, 27. Flip, what'd you get?
32.
32 for Flip.
Nice.
Blindra's not in it, and Kane has a perception. Where is it? There it is. Keen has a 31. So, Dirkhead rolled a natural 20. So, he has a 46 on his initiative.
Oh.
So, Dirkhead is going to go first, followed by Flip, then Kane, then Teera, then Marda, something else is going after Marda, and something else is going after that thing.
Oh god.
Okay. As Dirkhead raises his sword, the battle begins. He is going to... Oops, that's the wrong stat block. I can't find what I'm looking for. He is going to swing at you, Teera, with his greatsword.
What a loser. He'll probably not get my AC, so it doesn't even matter.
That is a 31 to hit. No, sorry, a 41 to hit.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that hits.
So, as he brings his sword down at you, that's 7, 8, 9, 25, 23 slashing damage, and 8 cold damage.
Oh my god. Actually, I have cold resistance 4, so that's only 4
So,
cold
okay.
damage.
So 4.
Okay.
He is
Ow!
going to take a second attack at Kane with the penalty. That is a 24 to hit. And you see Kane, that you hear this tremendous ringing of metal as Kane has instinctively raised that hammer that he has, and he raises it like just straight up, and Dirkhead's greatsword has come down on it, and there's just this almost anime like flash of light as it strikes.
Cool. Bitchin'.
And let's see, that's dependent on him doing that. That is going to be his turn. So flip.
Okay. It's nothing. Flip is going to put his feet firmly on either side of him. And he's going to rub his hands together. And then he's going to clap. And then he's going to say, Bob.
Oh, yes.
Dragon.
Yes, I love Bob. What about Bob? Yes. All right.
So Fire Drake appears behind Dirkhead.
God, hell yeah. You know, we could send Bob back into the tunnel to try to melt the shit out of Cleandra.
Well,
Don't dismiss him when this fight is over.
Okay. Bob is going to drop a fireball right on top of Dirkhead's head.
Oh, awesome.
I need a reflex save.
Right, that's gonna be okay. That is a versus reflex 38.
Okay. That is a success. So you take. Oh wait, that's not right. You take. Uh, 11 points of fire damage.
Nice.
All right, I have to check something real quick. Okay, 11. He will take 26 points of fire damage as the fire explodes around him, and you actually see him flinch. It's very clear that the fire does additional damage to him.
Okay.
Yes, noted. If Pokemon has taught me anything, it's that fire beats ice.
All right, let's see. Now I got to roll my d6 and see when I get to do that again. I just rolled a 20. I'm keeping it. 3 rounds. Okay, go ahead, Jake.
Okay. Kane is actually up next. Kane is going to, of course, attack with his new hammer. He's gonna rush in both hands, and he is going to, as the fire's dissipating from Dirkhead, Kane seems to almost burst out of this flash of fire with the hammer raised overhead, and he's gonna bring it down on Dirked for a 25 to hit on the first attack.
Does that hit him?
It does not hit him. He deflects it with his sword.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna do it again, of course.
Yes.
That is a 31 to hit. Swinging the hammer around again. Actually, that's not a 31. That would be a 26 because of the penalty. As he brings... Oh, wait, hold on. 31. Okay, yeah. So it'd be a 26, be a 28 because it's a +2 hammer. So it still rings out. And he's going to make one last attempt with the -10. Which means, yeah, again, it's... You can see the frustration mounting in Kane as he's trying to hit Dirked, and it's just not working. He can't get past him. That means... Teera, it is your turn.
Awesome. I forget, is drawing my weapon an action? Is that a separate action?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well then, I would like to draw my weapon for one action. I would like to rage for my second action. And then I would like to take a swing at him with my sword.
Okay.
Here I go. That is a 30 to hit him.
As he just finishes deflecting that blow from Kane, each time you're seeing that sort of flash of magical energy as magic weapon clashes with magic weapon. He doesn't even bring the axe or the great sword fully around. Instead, as you swing at him, he drives the great sword down using the crossguard to push your sword out of the way. That does not hit.
A 30 does not hit. Well, I'm done. I can't do anymore. I'm shocked. Teera is like stunned. That she like stands back for a second, kind of shocked that that didn't hit him.
Marda.
That he was able to deflect.
Yeah. Well, Marda is going to outstretch her hand at Dirked, and as she does so, you see the air, the coldness kind of coalesce around him and kind of slowly encapsulate. And as you can see in this like vapor, the red tendrils, as you needs to make a fortitude save.
Nice.
Fortitude. That's a 34.
Well, let's see. That's just a fail, so I think something still happens. Okay, yeah, he's going to take half damage. So that is going to be 6 points of piercing and 7 points of negative.
Ooh. Nice. Badass.
How many points of piercing?
I forget. 6. 6 points of piercing, 7 points of negative.
You see the piercing damage, piercing what remains of his flesh. But when the negative energy hits him, you see those same wounds begin to heal. You've seen this before. As an undead creature, it seems that negative energy heals him.
So I healed him for 1, essentially, that whole thing.
Well, that's a hell of a way to find that out, but we found it out, and it wasn't so bad.
Oops.
It's fine. We forgive you.
Is that your turn?
Marda wants to cry. So wait. Never mind, I'm not going to... Never mind. Nope, yeah, that's it. That's her turn.
Somebody roll a D100 for me, please.
I will. 6. Just 6.
The room begins to shake. Ice and chunks of ice are falling from the ceiling from this sudden shaking, this quaking, and you feel the ground beneath you churn as all around you, the floor, the walls, the ceiling, you see ice spikes growing out of everywhere. This room is difficult terrain, and if you can move at regular speed, but you will take damage from the spikes if you choose to do so. That is an environmental effect. I would like Marda to roll me a D100 as well.
Fuck.
26.
All right.
You've got to be crapping me.
Mother trucker, dude.
I can't find my phone or I'd take a picture of this. I just rolled the baseline for a thing to happen.
Like it's going to happen because
So
of this roll?
the thing, what I rolled a D100. Marda was rolling to see there's a 1% chance of something happening. And the first roll, you rolled exactly what I rolled.
Oh.
Okay.
So Durkat just explodes. We win, right?
No.
That's okay.
No.
Fuck.
I will say that you have activated something that won't be relevant this round. But I have to check something here.
I don't like that one bit. That's... Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's fine. He sounded real pissed, which means maybe we'll win more easily than he expects.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this to happen on the first try with a 1% roll.
Ugh.
It's those Davies.
Lucky ducks.
Okay.
It's the oil of Taggart all over again.
Yeah. In addition to the crackling sounds of the ice spikes shooting through the walls and the floor and everything, you hear another crackling sound behind you as the 4 statues of Vorn, Togo, Petra, and Doc leap down from their plinths and join the fight.
We're fucked.
Let me see. So they use their movement action to drop down. And they are going to use another action. They begin moving forward, striding slowly and shattering ice spikes as they move towards you. But
great.
They they don't get to you.
Nice. Wow.
Oops. Ah.
Just keep running away from them. And we'll get rid of all these spikes. It's like a late 90s video game.
So that's their action. That's going to take us around back to the top. It is Dirkhead's turn. As it comes around to Dirkhead, he is going to... Alright, hold on. Let's see this.
Shit. I feel like hitting with the sword would not take this much research.
I need... well, everybody to make a reflex saving throw.
Oh boy.
As Dirkhead throws his arms wide, thrusts his chest forward, and almost like a fantasy Gundam, you see this cold energy blast out in a cone from the heart in his chest.
Oh my god.
All right.
29 I got.
Mm. 25, 30. All right. 25 for Marda. Flip, what'd you get on your reflex?
You're muted, bud. Or something.
36.
Ooh.
Let's see. Spellcasters, do you know if normally on spells like this, is it automatic half damage on a miss, or only if it says so?
Only if it says so.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, Flip, you managed to save from this massive, very powerful cone of cold that shoots out. Oh, I gotta roll a reflex for Kane. Kane's reflex. King gets a 26. Kane, Marda, and Teera, you are going to take 34 points of cold damage. Teera, yours is reduced because
30.
of your resistance. Is that the winter touch that gives that?
Yes. Correctamundo.
Step plus extreme. You gain cold resistance equal to half your level. So it's what, 5 or 4?
4.
4. Okay. So just 30. Okay. Because Kane failed his as well. Kane is also winter touched.
Yes, he is.
So just a clarification, Jake, it's a table now. So critical failure, you take double the listed damage. Failure, take the full. Success, you take half. Critical success, you take no damage. So I rolled a 20. I don't know if that makes a difference, but that's how it works.
You rolled a nat 20 on your save?
Yeah.
That would be a critical success then. Oh, no, it wouldn't, because, sorry. Or is it? I'm going to stick with you take no damage.
Great.
Where did... I don't know why I'm not seeing that table. Is it just on general spell effects?
Page 49. 449.
Okay, I can't get it in my book. What's the heading?
Basic saving throws.
Okay. Dirkhead is going to swing his sword one more time. And he is going to try to bring it down on Kane.
Thank God Kane has the hammer of Thor.
That is a 34 to hit, which is going to hit Kane. Kane is going to take 3. 3 is 6, 22, 20, and then 1 cold damage, so 21 damage. As the sword cuts in under the hammer. And as this happens, Dirkhead kind of almost grabs the hammer, pulling Kane a little bit close. He doesn't so much swing into Kane as he pulls Kane into his blade and to the side of his blade. And he's sort of holding that hand that's holding the hammer as he leans down and says, "You will never be man enough to defeat me." And because I just noticed the time, this thing, this 1% that Marda rolled, is about to take place, and this is going to be the scene that is our cliffhanger ending. As you hear a tremendous rumbling sound, the sound of shattering ice. You know that sound when you're knocking down icicles?
Yeah.
But you're doing it with the really big ones, so they still have that sort of glass sound, but they're really heavy. And if you've ever taken your hand and you run it along a whole row of icicles, so it's that sound, but in rapid staccato rhythm, you're hearing that on a grand scale at the far end of the chamber. As a massive cloud dragon bursts out of the hallway.
Oh, she's alive!
And comes flying into the fray. With the jaws open wide. And you just see cutting through that fog, icicles continuing to shatter as she gets into this room, and the wings partially open up, knocking more icicles, landing, skidding to a stop along just behind you. And now there is a cloud dragon and a fire drake in there, and both of the dragons and Teera, you are certain that in your undead father's glowing eyes, you see what looks like fear.
Yes.
And that's where we're going to end.
I hope Cleandra's not mad.
That's where we're going to end tonight's session. No,
wow.
I wanted there to be a 1% chance that Cleandra was able to overcome the magic holding her. And I thought it was going to take every round you were going to roll that D100. I did not expect it on the first round.
Nailed it. Effing nailed it.
Yeah. I don't know where my phone is. I was going to take a picture of it when I rolled it. Because I rolled 26 and they had just landed, and then you rolled yours and you said 26.
Dude. What? That's so awesome.
So.
Great.
We will finish this fight in, you know what? Next episode's called Double Dragon.
Oh my god.
It's gotta be.
That's exquisite.
It's gotta be. Episode 93, Double Dragon, will be next week. In what turned out to be a 2-part boss battle.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I really thought the badassery of just fucking staring him down might get us out of it. I thought he might be like, oh, you're not fucking around, I see. By all means, take the heart. That would have been great.
Well, we're only one round into combat. Flip's only summoned one dragon. We'll see what else Flip has up his goblin sleeves. And what other wild magic Marda can...
If there can be a small amount of healing and all of that stuff that Marda does, that'd be super. Just throwing that out there.
we'll have to figure some stuff out. I might. Well, what I'm thinking is I might end up giving Cleandra's stat block to Marda, to M. If you're okay with it, to control Cleandra, because I'm already controlling a whole battlefield and another NPC.
And all of our former selves. Well,
so
all of our loves.
I will wait until next week. There's going to be an RP element to Marda, to M controlling Cleandra. And we'll find out what that is next week. So yeah, thank you everybody who tuned in, or if you're watching with us at a later time, on the VOD, of course, or if you're somebody that likes to watch quietly with us, in the chat, lurking silently in the shadows. No, we appreciate you no matter what way you choose to watch. Yeah, we appreciate the support. Hope you'll tune in on Thursday for some Scribes, or nope, for some Paradise Academy.
Some Scribes on bikes, and of course,
Scribes on bikes,
kids on rolls,
kids on scrolls, and also on Friday, Nerdarchy YouTube channel. I'll be there playing some D&D with Ted and some others. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream here in just a moment, because I don't know why I'm suddenly forgetting how to stream. I want to say
pressure's on. Pressure's on.
I want to say before we go, a final thank you, of course, to the 3 remaining players and only 1 character from the original iteration in Teera, but of course a huge thank you to the to M, to Cari, and to the perfect attendance of Cari.
Wow.
Without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. But apparently that would never happen, because Gary hasn't missed a session. So at the worst, it would be Gary and I talking to each other for a couple of hours. And that's not so bad.
That would be a delight.
With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want. Murder.